pre-bought deal, we had about 5,000 meters of funded drilling left to go. We now have 5 times that. We have over 25,000 meters of funded drilling from now to the end of 26, if not into 2027.
All right, Bart, well, welcome to Mine Stock Talk. We're super thrilled to have you join us today from Limerick land to dig into the deep story of Group 11. And we're very excited to talk with you today. And one thing I just wanted to point out for our audience is just you have a very interesting and impressive journey in the mining world with 20 years of mining experience, 6 years as an exploration geologist, 12 years as a mining analyst with some pretty prestigious firms. And obviously that gives us a really great sense of comfort and knowing that you have a boots on the ground expertise in the financial market savvy section. So one thing that we find really interesting is that having founded your company Group 11 Resources during probably the worst market downturn in 2015 and 16. So obviously that proves your ability to see where opportunities and others see crisis. And obviously as a result of that, you've become a strategic builder. So just thank you so much again for taking the time with us today. So they say that there is gold at the end of every rainbow, but you're chasing zinc in Ireland. So what makes Irish mining landscape so special and interesting for the awesome zinc exploration? And how does being neighbors with Glencore's massive Palace Green project give you that extra bit of Irish luck?
Well, look, Ireland is famous for its world-class zinc deposits. There's a 60-year modern mining history here. 6 prospects ended up becoming discoveries, which critically were actually built. There's a lot of big, beautiful zinc deposits elsewhere in the world that are still stranded because of one key ingredient missing, and that is infrastructure. And that we have utmost oodles of here in Ireland. So it's a proven jurisdiction. You have your great rocks, you have your oodles of infrastructure, like I just said, you have your roads, power, rail, year-round tidewater, we have proximity to European smelters. We have a good, stable politics, very center, very pro small business, etc. And we have a great mining code, which actually, incidentally, the Fraser Institute just put out their mining survey a few weeks back, and Ireland ranks #1 out of all those, whatever, 80 to 90 jurisdictions worldwide in terms of policy perception index. So that's really, really interesting. We have the majors working here, not just Glencore, but others like South32, Boliden, etc. We have the Irish government, for the very first time, actually announced last year that they formed an Irish mining fund, very cleverly named IMF, which is putting 30 million euros to work to fast track Irish mining again, because we have, on top of the Tara deposit, which is mined by Boliden. That's basically, there's the 𝐿𝐵 shut down. So we're down to 1 active mine, maybe another one restarting soon. And I think the Irish government felt it was necessary on the back of the European sort of renaissance in mining that we've seen post-Ukraine and as part of this sort of circular economy, very much pony up and say, look, we're going to become investors alongside all the other investors here, and look forward to them putting that capital to work. And then lastly, on Glencore, I think the thing that Glencore offers is critical mass, us being right next door to Glencore's Palace Green deposit. That is a huge undeveloped zinc resource. That's a 45 million ton resource at 8.4% zinc and lead. What that basically means, being only 20 kilometers away from that, is we don't actually need to find that much in order to light up this camp, economically speaking. So I think that's a really critical point. And obviously, the geological environment was there to form such a big deposit, then that geological environment is going to be pervasive. Those environments are probably countrywide, but very specifically within the Limerick area where we're at. That's very much going to be the case as well. So those conditions geologically would have been around the area, and we're certainly, I think, within that radius. So I think that gives us extra prospectivity, if you will. There's obviously some technical background and know-how that we can glean from Glencore and how they've explored, et cetera, and we have a purview into that. I guess a validation of the exploration model, extra prospectivity, critical mass, and technical know-how.
Well, speaking of luck, your 25 drill results have been anything but luck. They've been downright spectacular. Can you just walk us through, and our retail investors that watch this, what's been happening with the drill this year and why these results are maybe a little more than exciting than a 4-leaf clover?
Well, look, to back up a little bit, it took us 7 years. This is not an overnight success. It's an overnight success that took 7 years, about 100 drill holes and about $20 million to sort of get from concept to actual discovery hole. The discovery was made 3 years ago, September of 22 now. So it just seems like yesterday, but it's been 3 years ago now. We've drilled about 20,000 meters, 53 holes roughly. We've been getting excellent grades and thicknesses. So for example, the typical intercept for us would be about 10 meters of 10% zinc and lead and 100 grams silver. And so even the last news release that we put out was a 50-meter intercept, our best ever, at about similar grades to that. We're also getting germanium numbers in where the high zinc is, and we're getting a little bit of antimony in there. And the mineralization has been intercepted over 2.6 kilometers so far. So we have a very hefty strike length, on par with the greats in Ireland, like Laois, Galmoy, or silver mines in that ballpark. And that 2.6 kilometers is along a 6-kilometer long perspective trend, which is defined by 4 gravity high anomalies, only one of which we've actually systematically drilled so far. So you could argue we're only 25% of the way through. And then, of course, the last key development for us, which has really done good things for our share price of late, is that we hit Bonanza copper as well. So we hit something like it was 6 meters of nearly 4% copper and nearly 1,000 grams per ton silver in an overall 20-meter thick package of mineralization. So it was quite a key development for us. And why that was important is because it basically told us that copper, and we've been getting a lot of copper hits anyway, but that was the real stark jump upwards in terms of grade and thickness. But what all these copper hits are telling us increasingly is that copper is coming from below. So there must be some kind of a source down below us. And also we know from the stratigraphy of the area, there's something called the lower limestone shale about 100 to 200 meters below our zinc horizon. And that lower limestone shale just happens to host 4 copper silver prospects in and around where Ballywire discovery is. So you put one on one together, these 2 key pieces of evidence, and you've got a very interesting copper target down beneath us that we're currently drilling. So stay tuned.
Interesting. And I just want to back it up just a little bit because I thought I heard you say something a little earlier that sort of made my ears perk up a little. Did you say antimony?
Yes, we did. Yeah. Or antimony. Yeah.
We talked to 𝐄𝐿 Gold out of New Zealand, and they've got like a really great antimony project that's going on right now too. So I just want to make sure I heard that right because we find that really interesting. And obviously, that's an area that's not really the market's not super aware of. So I thought that was kind of would be an interesting little talking point if you could just maybe go in a little bit deeper about that resource a little bit and what that means for Group 11.
We haven't made much of it. We did, as part of that 6-meter hit of nearly 1,000 grams per ton, nearly 4% copper, we got 0.3% antimony or antimony. And that was the first time really that we got such numbers. That, it doesn't sound like much, but it's actually another, call it $90 gross metal value per ton if you want to sort of play that game. But just to give you a scope of that, it's not irrelevant. It is a significant amount, 0.3% of that metal. It is something that the EU and the US are searching for in a big way. It's critical metal. And again, we haven't talked about it much. We did mention it in the press release, but it's the first time we really encountered it. So as we drill further and at depth and along strike of the discovery, then hopefully we'll see more of it. So that remains to be seen.
You mentioned earlier that Glencore is involved. They're, as I understand it, your largest shareholder. We call that kind of the equivalent of a rabbit's foot. But how does that relationship help you? And should retail investors see this as a major vote of confidence in your story, including the zinc and the other things you're actually finding these days?
Clearly, there's synergies between Glencore's Palace-Green deposit, which is right beside our Stone Park deposit, and we have a Palace-Green lookalike right beside that on the opposite side of the circular volcanic package. That prospect is called 𝐄𝐋𝐄𝐕𝐄𝐍 West. So we have a small satellite deposit right beside their big deposit. We have what looks to be a mirror image of that whole system on the south side of the circular volcanic package, let alone our discovery that we just made a further 10 kilometers downtrend from that. So we have, I don't want to overstate it as a district play, but it is kind of a big regional play where we have a lot of interesting things put together. So that's as it is as the crow flies looking down at the map, that's the situation. So there's a lot of synergy potential. And what I mean by synergy, of course, is, you could build these as separate mines one day, or you could build one concentrator and save all that money and just mining those assets feeding into one concentrator. So you have a heck of a lot of savings if you unitize the whole thing, package and mine it as one, as opposed to, you know, four separate projects. And then more on a corporate level, I guess we have trifecta, I guess, in that with Glencore, in that they are our largest shareholder. They are our next door neighbor, obviously, and they sit on our board as well. So Frans Bowman joined us a few months before he took over from another Glencore representative. He's a finance director over at Glencore Zinc, and he's based in Europe. So that, I think, bodes well as well. So I think, you know, it's a validation of our prospectivity, definitely on the ground, recognition that we have synergy potential, and it's obviously hopefully a vote of confidence for the team as well.
I find that to be very compelling, especially from the retail side, and understanding like synergy obviously lends itself to the opportunity, especially when it comes to market fundamentals, supply, demand, and all that kind of stuff. And also like just from an interest level for anybody who is thinking about adding zinc to their portfolio. So for our mine stalkers watching who might be new to Group 11, what would you say is your elevator pitch for retail investors when they're considering adding Irish zinc exposure to their portfolios?
We are drilling the most significant zinc discovery or mineral discovery in Ireland in over a decade. And not only do we have high grade zinc and lead, but obviously we're punching way above our weight in terms of silver. So the silver numbers we're getting are, or maybe just to back up, the typical Irish type zinc deposit would have either no silver, maybe 30 grams, maybe 60 grams, right? That's kind of the range. We're getting 50 to 150 grams consistently. So we're way above the typical Irish type zinc deposit. Now we're getting up to 1,800 grams per ton recently. So grades like that have not really been seen in Ireland before, except for one small little area at silver mines back, I think, in the 1700s. So this is really something new and exciting. Now we're starting to see bonanza copper numbers as well. And that suggests a deeper copper silver horizon that we're testing for right now. We have Glencore and Michael Gentile as major shareholders and sitting on the board. And a great jurisdiction, like I mentioned, and a European renaissance on the back of all this. So I think it all bodes very well.
That's great. Before we wrap up, though, Bart, if you had to look into the future, a crystal ball, let's say you had one, what should investors be thinking about, possibly looking at when they're watching the company over, say, the next 6, 12 months? Any milestones and things that would make the investor do a little Irish jig?
I love your questions, by the way. But yeah, we have three rigs turning, right? So that's a lot of news flow. We have $8.4 million. We just completed a bought deal, $5.75 million bought deal with Cormark and Beacon. Very grateful for that show of support from those two brokers. Fantastic. So now we're at $8.4 million. We had some money before the deal as well, obviously. And so that really gives us a lot of leeway to work. You know, we're probably going to be adding a fourth rig. We'll hopefully and like to say more about that in the not too distant future. Lots of news flow, all basically focused on Ballywire. We have this 2.4 kilometer long trend along a 6 kilometer prospective trend, and we're looking deeper underneath that trend for a deeper copper silver target. Pre-bought deal, we had about 5,000 meters of funded drilling left to go. We now have 5 times that. We have over 25,000 meters of funded drilling from now to the end of 26, if not into 2027. So we've got a long, solid runway of very exciting drill target testing from now till then.
We appreciate you that you were able to take the time with us today. And it's also, this is a zinc credible story.
Incredible. Another just fast point on the stock symbol, etc. The stock's done very well lately. It got a bit of a ride, but really well. So the future looks great for it. And again, as Robin says, we'll be pointing that out to all the retail that follow us and others too.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Calling all savvy investors in mining and resources, seeking the inside track on Group 11? Look no further than minestalkers.com for cutting-edge knowledge and real-time stock updates. Visit for the insights and stay for the gains. Seize the opportunity and explore the magic at minestalkers.com. Uncover new investment possibilities today. Don't forget to hit the bell below to subscribe and then like and share this video. Let's get the word out there.